Welcome, friends. My name is Avinash Gorakshakar, and I welcome all of you to another interesting episode of Konexio HighFlyers. Friends, as all of you are aware, these episodes help us understand emerging companies from emerging sectors in a much better way. And we make it a point to talk to the promoters and the top managements of such companies so that all of us can understand their company's business model, their growth journey, their future growth plans. And in this process, a lot of valuable information is made available to investors when they take a conscious investment call. And friends, today we are going to talk about another interesting company which operates in a very niche space and which is going to hit the capital market very soon. The company today we are going to talk about is Kratikal Tech Limited. And I have the privilege of having the top management, in fact, the promoter team.
Mr. Pavan Kumar, who's the chairman and managing director and CEO.
Pavanji, welcome to the
Thank you,
show.
sir. Thank you,
We
sir.
also have
Mr. Paratosh Kumar, who's whole-time director.
Paratoshji, welcome to you. And we also have Mr. Deep Jung Thapa, who is the Chief Operating Officer.
Thank
So,
you, sir.
gentlemen, welcome to the show and to all of you, and thank you for your time. First question, which is very basic and elementary, Pavanji, I think since you are the founder and CEO, a basic question is if you could just explain to our viewers what is the broad business model of our company and what is the positioning of Critical in the domestic market and how did this business journey start? Is it a first generation company or was it started by your father and then you took it over? If you could please tell us.
Sure. So I think it's a first generation company. It was not started by my father. So my father was a farmer. Now he's in UP Home Guard, right? I started this company along with Paratosh and Deep while I was in college. So this started as in there is some. So I received a phishing email on my email account, and I clicked on this phishing email, and there was a fake landing page of Gmail, right? So I put up a
Yeah.
credential, and then I clicked. As soon as I clicked, I got hacked, right? And
Okay.
that kind of triggered something in us that okay, this is a big problem to solve, right? And this, if this can happen with me, this can happen with a large enterprise, right? uh, what we essentially wanted to do is that how do we can secure the people of across world, right? Be it an employee of an organization, be it a vendor of a company, or be it a customer of a company, right? So we started with that motto to raid phishing and social engineering attacks from the world, right? That's how it started. The company operated two different business model. When we passed out in 2015, we gave it a continuity, right? So we thought let's just take a risk for. We had a great jobs. We thought while we are in NIT Allahabad, right, it gives us a very good ecosystem of campus placement and whatnot. But we thought let's just leave the job aside. We'll get the jobs again, but we will not be able to take the risk while we are on early on of life. So that's where we took the risk. We gave it a continuity, right? So Kratikal right now operate in two integrated businesses. One is branded as Kratikal itself. The other is Threatcop, right? Uh, Threatcop have four different products which help any organization to fight social engineering attacks. So what it means is like anything that you see as a phishing attack, your WhatsApp scam, which is happening, right? Your SMS, your whatever communication medium that you are trying to use, we kind of build up an AI-based hacker which simulate these attacks within your organization and tell
Okay.
you how kind of vulnerable your employee is. So we call it EVS, Employee Vulnerability Score, right? And once
Okay.
you do that, what's the next step, right? So once you understand that if I send let's say 500 off on let's say an e-commerce company to this particular person or a voucher to this particular person, this person is going to click, right? Now the next step is to train them to make sure that they do not kind of get to the same stuff, right? So then the next step goes on a training. We have like one of the largest content store in the world, an enterprise LMS powered by AI. You can generate the content on the fly. You can use the existing content which is available over there. Now you fix this from a psychological standpoint using content. The third and very critical important part is what if this information does not come to you, right? So we have built up inbound and outbound email security. So every email that you receive will be filtered with our softwares, right? With the help of AI, right? So the email comes to your organization, it is get filtered, and then it gets to you. So 70, I'd say 75% of the attacks that are happening in cybersecurity is via email, and roughly around 45% of the email that you receive are junk in nature, right? So we kind of try to avoid and make sure that you do not receive those emails right into your inbox. So that's the protection part. The last is incident response, right? Which is like, let's say even if we did everything, you did simulation, you did awareness, you did protection, but still you receive an email inside your mailbox, and then we give an option as a security co-pilot to a user. They can click on that button and they can investigate that entire email, why that email is a fraud, right? So they have a kind of AI co-pilot for them, right? So that's what we do in a Threatcop. In Kratikal, we do vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. What it means is, whenever you have an application that you wanted to make live, whenever you have a devices which is being used into your organization, right? We test that particular device or your application or your infrastructure, right? Possibly how an hacker can come and get inside your system, right? So we tell you before even the hacker comes inside that, and we act like a security professionals to test that infrastructure and then tell you this is how you can fix it, right? Apart from this, Kratikal is a cert impaneled company, so we are kind of thing like auditor. It's like CS you have for financial auditing. We are cert impaneled companies, and there are few companies which can do that audit, right? So government need those kind of audits to be done, and it has to be certified by a certain panel company, right? So there's a different process for that. So we are a certain panel from last 5-6 years, right? And we also help you to achieve compliances like ISO 27001, SOC 2, GDPR, and HIPAA, right? The first business model is pure SaaS, meaning people come to the platform, sign up, and you start using it. The second is product as a service, right? So service as a product, right? So basically, the people come to our portal. The first of level of testing is done by the portal itself, and then there is a human who's kind of doing the testing and the implementing those controls within the organization. So that's what we do in a nutshell. I would say in Threatcop and Kratikal.
No, no, understood. Thank you, Pavanji. Pavanji, now tell me one thing from your prospectus. I think I saw that BFSI, insurance, these are very large sectors for us. Sir, tell us normally when you get a customer, sir, how long is the contract? Is it a couple of years or basically, these are long 2-3 year contracts? What is the stickiness of these contracts with these customers? And typically, what is the kind of repeat business we get from these clients? थोड़ा सा इसके बारे में बताइए.
बिल्कुल. So basically, the kind of customers that we have, generally these are 1 year, minimum 1 year, 3-year or 5-year contracts, right? That's how we get in. It's a per employee per year based kind of contract, right? So what we try to do is we kind of so there are a lot of stickiness. One is the stickiness in terms of contract that you've already asked, that how many years of the contract it is. The second stickiness is the product experience, right? When the customer uses it and they see that they are able to reduce the cyber risk very effectively, that's like goes on a very different level altogether, right? The third is because it's a pure data driven, right? The more threat intel that you have. So we process millions of users, billions of emails, right? And we will have like threat intel on a very different level, so that the accuracy of our product goes on a very different level than any of the competitor that we have. So that's also become a bigger moat. Apart from this, I think what I see as in potential, right, in terms of what kind of constitute and contribute is the product features itself, right? So let's say what we have, there are few features which is being patented by us, right, and no one can offer them. Let's say we have something called real-time DMARC, which DMARC is essentially a technology which kind of work like anti-spoofing, so no one can actually spoof your domain. That data comes within 24 to 48 hours. We are the only one in the world who can tell you within, let's say, 56 to milliseconds to 100 milliseconds, right? So that's something, and with the email ID visibility, that's something the people are not able to do. So it is backed by patents, features, experience, and the long-term contract that we have. Now, you talked about BFSI, right? We have majority of the Indian banks working with us, right? Like largest private sector bank in India, like one of the largest private sector bank in India uses us, right? Which has like lakhs of employees.
Okay.
You have NBFCs, you have a small banks, you have, so the kind of category of customer that we have is pretty much like I don't, because this is a public call, I don't want to kind of name the kind of customers, but I think most of the bank utilizes us to kind of strengthen their security security management and security awareness of their people, right? One more critical, it was roaming around my head. It is a regulatory tailwind, and that's very critical. So meaning the RBI mandated all the banks to do these activities like simulation, security awareness, and also if you, let's say, have a compliance like ISO 27001, SOC 2, these compliances also mandate security awareness training. So right,
Okay.
this is like a pretty much sticky product. The first customer that we onboarded like 2017 in 2017 is still with us. That, if that answers your question.
So I think very nice to know, Pavanji. Pavanji, without asking you the customer names, can you tell us, how many customers till date have we serviced? I mean, at least if you would tell us the broad number, if not the exact number, because people would love to know what is the depth and size of our operations. If you could please tell us.
So I think people can multiply the numbers. I can just talk about what we put in DRHP, right? In the last financial year, we have a 677, if I'm not mistaken, right, Paratosh? We have a 677 as a customer, and these are like include enterprise customers and mid-market customers. So
Okay.
yeah,
Understood.
so you can
Sir,
multiply the next year. So that will be like,
okay.
yeah.
Sir, just to talk about the overall market opportunity for cybersecurity, if you could tell us, our viewers, that what is the opportunity size we are looking at? Because today we are small, we are growing rapidly. Sir, in your sense, in the next 3-4 years, what is the market opportunity available for Kratikal in our space? So, if you could tell us something about the tailwinds for the cybersecurity market, where are we positioned, and what is the overall opportunity of growth for our company?
Sure. So what we see is we are a drop in the ocean as of now, right? In terms of market opportunity and the kind of the category that we operate in. There are 75 categories in cybersecurity, and we operate between 4 to 5 categories in those 75 categories itself, right?
Right.
The market size in India, right, is roughly around $13 billion in cybersecurity, right? When we started, it was nothing. It was, I think, not even $1 billion in 2012, right? It is increasing on roughly on 20% CAGR year on year, right? Based on the data that you see from industry reports, right? Even in India, the market size is huge. But if you look at the public company that you can correlate us with, let's say there is a company called Proofpoint in the US. And I can state the number because this is a public company listed on NASDAQ. They do a $2.5 billion revenue.
Right.
Can you imagine? So that's like one of the competition that we have. There is one company that used to be a public, now it's private, so I don't have the exact number. They were doing $240 million called Novo4, right? So we are operating in that category. We kind of distributed our revenue. So we are not doing only India. We have now presence in Middle East. We have now presence in Southeast Asia. I am now fully moved to the US, right? So I'm serving some customer in the US, right? So what we're trying to do is, if you look at our export revenue, it is right now more than like approximately 30% revenue coming from export. It was not 30% 1 year back. It was different. Like, so if you look at RHP, so the opportunity that I wanted to consider is not only India. The opportunity is global, which is like roughly around $250+ billion in cybersecurity. And if you look at the companies, forget about the opportunity in terms of cybersecurity, in terms of market size, but look at the kind of revenue those companies are doing. The biggest one is doing $2.5 billion. Then you have some few $1 billion, and this is revenue, not the market cap, right?
Right.
We are right now on roughly around 36.7 crore revenue, which is roughly around, let's say, if I just put up a ballpark figure, it's $5 million. So think like this, even if we become we wanted to kind of obviously become one of the largest cybersecurity across the world, because we are one of the largest in India when in terms of our category. But if we wanted to become one of the largest in the world, we would be like going to that level. So we are starting up. It's a very start, and we kind of reached to that level. This is what we aspire to be.
Well, understood, sir. Very nicely mentioned by you. What is so different and unique about our product compared to what the competitors are offering? I mean, are we slightly?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So I think one of the fundamental differences, we are very human focused in cybersecurity, right? And also in human focused, what we have basically done is we have designed a framework, right? So like Pavan explained, so we've designed a framework called Assess, Aware, Protect, Empower. It's called People Security Management Framework, and we as a company, we try to cater to almost every other communication medium that a human is using. Unlike any other competition, they're only focused on email as an attack vector, or email as a communication medium. So we focus on every other communication medium, like even Instagram, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, SMS, wishing, which is calling, right? So QR code and everything, which is one of the primary medium for security attacks today to any other humans. We also focus on a lot of deepfakes. That is, I think, one of the fundamental difference. Second difference is, so one of the biggest pain point when it comes to educating or empowering employees is their attention span is very, very less. So you need very sophisticated or very easy or very interactive way to train these people. So our platform is designed like a Netflix for security awareness, right? So which basically says that the content or the games or the all of those things that we have in the library is very interactive, right? The third one is it's very personalized. So let's say if we talk about cyber attack that was happening 5 years back, it was very generic. So let's say all of us in the screen, we might have got similar kind of cyber attack, like Amazon voucher. But now it's very sophisticated, very personalized. So the attack that comes to you, sir, is going to be very different as compared to Pavan or me, right? So we also have to go to very user focused, very much personalized security awareness, or very personalized simulations, right? And one of the most important differentiation that we have is empowering the people. So I always say, let's say for example, when you are traveling through Uber or Ola, you have got a SOS button, right? To click on the button if there is an emergency, and you can receive immediate help, right? So but on the internet layer, if there is a attack to you on your WhatsApp or SMS, or somebody is trying to call and scam you, there is no real time help. Where do you ask that help? There is nothing. But as a Threatcop, we have built that help where to every customers, every employees, every banking customers and everybody, when they find or they get any suspicious message, they can just take a screenshot and send it to their bank, and
Okay.
immediately we can respond to them, they are good or bad. So if you see,
Yeah.
as a company, we are very, very deep inside human factor in the cybersecurity, right? Unlike any other competitions who are very much surface, very superficial. So, and another factor is, if tomorrow there is an attack in the world, a very new attack, right? That is super new. Like nobody has done that again, right? So that exactly we can replicate in our platform, and we educate our people instantly. So all of those things, makes us very much deep expertise, and very much big delta that we have against any of the competition in the world. And therefore, I think many even couple of very large enterprise in US have onboarded Threatcop.
I think very nicely mentioned by you, sir. This is very, very nicely explained, because this is something which investors would definitely like to know. Pavanji, now typically, what is the normal working capital cycle in our business? When you say that some customers come on a SaaS model, some companies, take the product one by one. But broadly, what is the working capital cycle for us? Like, when the customer signs up, does he pay money upfront, or only after he uses it and then the money comes to the company? What is the receivable cycle for us?
So yeah, it pays upfront, right? It is upfront advance. So we generally do a year or 3-year contract, and it's upfront money, right?
Okay.
And we have a 30. So capital, like we have a very good capital efficacy, right? So because like I said, we have been bootstrapped. So that's like we obviously raise a little bit amount of money, but predominantly it's bootstrapped. So we have to manage the working capital requirements, and we wanted to make sure that we never stuck in that particular loop, right? Our the money that we get into market, like roughly on 30 days to 60 days is the time period from which the invoice gets cleared, and we have a very good recovery rate, so we don't see those challenges, because generally we work with the large enterprises, right?
Understood. Sir, now let's come to the most important question. We are going public, so it's a big credibility achievement for all three of you. So, sir, best wishes. Sir, tell us what is the amount of money we are planning to raise from the capital market, and what is the objective of raising this money?
So the total money that we're raising is roughly around 40 crore, 39.6 something, right? Which is the object of the issues are two different issues, right? One is that we are deploying this money to get to the new market, right? So the reason, and we kind of we wanted to scale this company, right? So there are two ways by which you can scale this company. Either scale, like say you add more products, right? Or a more module to the same customers, or you kind of do the same what you did in India, go to the Middle East, go to the Southeast Asia, and go to the US, right? The ticket size that we have in India is let's say X. It goes 3 to 4x in the Middle East. It goes 10 to 15x in the US, right? That's like very, very different thing, right? And when you do export, especially in softwares, right, the cost of selling is the only cost generally you occur in the outside market, because the entire delivery, the development, and everything is happening here in India. The IP is in India, so right. The parity difference is very high. So Thus, it can increase the PAT margins and the EBITDA margins so far, and the also the revenue can shape out on a very different level. That's the reason we are kind of getting into these markets. We will be deploying this money, which is around 23 crore rupees, to hire people in the Middle East, to hire people in the US, put the offices, put the foot in the ground, and go to the new customers. Right?
Okay.
We are able to get an early success in the Middle East, in the let's say Southeast Asia, where like let's say Indonesia's largest bank is my customer, or largest oil and gas marketing company is my customers. Let's say the Abu Dhabi's largest healthcare provider is my customer, right? So we are able to did that test where we are able to get the customers, show the product value. It's just that we have to put our sales people on the ground. Number one. Number two, the roughly around 9 to 10 crore will go to build products. So we are building we already have an outbound email security, right? We are building an inbound email security where the email filtering will be much more effective, and we will be able to sell to the same customer. So we are kind of developing that product. We are also building one more product, which is Auto GRC, which is a compliance specific product, right? I think the Paratosh can tell a little bit more about what we are doing in Auto GRC.
So in Auto GRC, so there are two types of compliances. One which is regulated by regulatory bodies like RBI, SEBI, IRDA, UIDAI, and there are different global compliances which are required just because of the companies asked to save the particular information within the organization. So the customer data should be handled properly in safe mode. So the regulatory compliances need to be also, so we are automating each and every compliance process within our product, both the regulatory and the global compliances like the
Fine.
ISO, SOC 2, GDPR and all.
Then understood. Sir, one question which is very important, and I think investors would like to know, Pavanji, is that there are 2-3 privately owned companies. So we just wanted to know, what is the status of these companies? I'll just spell out the name. One company is basically Kratikal Academy Private Limited, then Threatcop FC LLC, and Threatcop AI Incorporation. Now, what was the main reason for starting these companies and going public? Sir, what is the future of these companies? Will these companies do totally different businesses? And will our company, which is going to get listed, will be focusing on the main business going forward? So, sir, if you could just explain for our investors.
For sure. So Kratikal Academy was our training wing, which we kind of started very early on. And before I answer this question, these all are 100% subsidiary of Kratikal Tech. So it's nothing between anything between that. 100% is Kratikal Academy, 100% is Threatcop LLC, and 100% is Threatcop AI Inc. Right? The reason we build these entity is, so whenever you go to the new market, you have to comply with the local regulation. So when I mentioned that we're going to invest money in the local, hiring those staff locally, you have to have an entity in those geography. So we registered one in Dubai, which is Threatcop LLC, 100% subsidiary of Kratikal Tech Limited. Then we also registered one entity in the US to hire people in the US, that is Threatcop AI Inc. Right? And the Kratikal Academy is a training vertical where we used to teach some of the cybersecurity skills to the student, which is not operating as of now. We intend to kind of either close or kind of do something on that entity, because that's business that we kind of stopped like 4 years back, right? So yeah, these are the clarifications regarding these entities. Yeah.
So I think thank you for that. Pavanji, last question, which is very important. We ask all the promoters. Sir, in our business, what is the most important risk? Like when you come to office every day in the morning, what is the topmost thing which is there in your mind? Is it technology risk, or is it some kind of maybe some some error, or maybe some problem with the software? What exactly is the risk mitigation strategy of our company?
So I'll tell you honestly, right? I think we already have mentioned a multiple risk on the RHP, and we try to do best possible as per our knowledge, right? In terms of the risk appetite, right? I think it's there are provisions of risk, right? There are different kind of risk that has a solution. Let's say there could be a cyber attack that can happen across India, right? So we had kind of taken out the cyber insurance for that, right? So we have those kind of risks. Let's say one of the things that happened with us recently is that one of the data center got hit by missile in Dubai, right? That's also a different kind of risk. So there are multiple risk that we mentioned as per the DRHP, that what is the problem, what are the things that has been happening on this side, right? We have one of the revenue concentration. Okay, if you compare with my peers, we don't have that much of revenue concentration as in peers. But let's say we have 30% of the revenue coming from top 10 customer, right? Generally, if you look at peers, this is like sometimes 70, 80 or whatever it is, right? So we have that kind of risk. We are kind of, given the geopolitical things that is happening, I think that's one of the risks. These are some of the common risks that I see. But I think I would highly advise investors to look at our risk chapter in our DRHP, which clearly outline everything that we have thought of over the period of time and the years, that what could consist of as risk as in to our business.
I think very nicely mentioned by you, sir. Please accept my best wishes to all of you, sir, for the company as well as for the entire team which is working with you. And sir, best wishes for your public issue also. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.